In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about learning vengeance through montage, how love is yelling in all caps, having mustache hair in your teeth, and the bowling ball outcome, which is Book 3, a mix of Mystery Men and The Big Lebowski, in our discussion of Blood on the Wind by Dawn Kurtagich. Hooray, it sounds like murder! Hooray! Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're going to discuss Blood on the Wind by Dawn Kurtagich.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read the book, then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up. Eee!
Oh, wow.
Yay!
Oh, I'm excited to talk about this one.
Yay! Yes.
Oh, no, that was initial. That was a thought. That was the thought.
Stop it. Out of order.
Give me some background information first.
Okay, so I found this interview with Writer's Digest, and the question that I took this response from was like, oh, why don't you just give up? Sort of thing. And, you know, they didn't say that. They didn't suggest that she just give up, but it was about how it took her so long, like, to get started and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But they asked if you could share one piece of advice with other writers, what would it be? And she says a lot can be said for being stubborn. And then she says some other things, but then she has this line, and it's just, mwah. Believe, foolishly, hopefully, endlessly, passionately. You only lose if you stop trying. Oh, yes. Swoon. So there was lots more to that response, but that was my favorite part.
Yeah, I like that.
And it might just be that I am not so secretly in love with Dawn Kurtagich, and she also knows that, so
yeah, we do have a conflict of interest when it comes to Dawn. You're very biased towards her.
I'm not ashamed of it. Yeah, we are. Yeah.
I feel like asking what your initial thoughts are fairly redundant because it's going to be positive.
Well, actually, it's a question. How long have we been waiting for this one?
So
5
long.
Years? So long.
5 years? Was it 5 years?
Was it 5?
I remember doing it when I first joined.
Yeah, that was the cursed episode.
It was.
Oh, so
no.
Cursed.
Oh, no. This might break the curse.
Oh,
charge it back up again.
Oh,
no.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've had a good curse.
Let's avoid them. Let's curse others, not curse ourselves.
Oh, yeah, okay. I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, we've been waiting on this one for a long, long time. And I feel like we were waiting for any Dawn Kurtagich for a long, long time. But, you know, there were, like, global pandemics and, you know, just horrors upon horrors in the world. And then we got 2 in 1 year. And there was a short story before that.
And they're coming out soon.
Yeah, and there's one coming out next year. And then there's one slated for the year after that.
Yeah, Project Orange was the Thorns.
Yes.
I can't remember what project name it is.
Is it Mud? Or is that the other way around? One was Mud and one was Orange.
Yeah. Orange was Thorns because when Dawn promoted it, when it first promotion, and she said it's the most autobiographical, I thought, oh, that's why it's Project Orange, because of her flaming hair.
That makes sense.
And I was like, there we go. So now I'm looking at the project names and I'm like, Mud. But she's also teased a third book in this series.
Well,
and it was B on the something. So I was like, it's Bones on the Inclement Weather. Because it's always some kind of like...
It's got to be Bones. I was thinking Bones on the mountain. Even though it's not weather, but like...
I just went with inclement mountain. I mean, it's Bones. Right. It's got to be Bones.
It's got to be Bones.
Or breath. But then I was like, oh, you got teeth in the mist, blood on the wind, and then I was like, it could be breath on the something or other. But
I feel like it needs to be Bones. Just based
on what happens in the book, it's got to be Bones.
It's got to be Bones. Yeah.
Well, let's dive into the summary and then we can discuss more.
We should. I'm glad that you wanted to talk about though, because I've been thinking about it.
Good.
All right. Let's see here. This one goes through multiple timelines, everyone. So we do make an announcement. There's also character shifts each time. So we note it just so you can keep up with it. All right. Roan, 1851. Roan wakes from the fire that destroyed everyone she loves. Rapley, Emma, Seamus, Cage, Faustus. Her hair is gone. Her clothes are gone. But she is whole, unburnt by the fire. She sees the ram and laments that he lied to her. He said Rapley would survive, but no, he didn't say that. He would never lie to her. She looks across the way at Millhouse, seemingly normal, and longs to retreat to the caves where she and Rapley found love. But then, far away, she sees someone running to a carriage. Faustus. He, like she, did not burn in the fire. He lives, and she must stop him.
Ooh, so dramatic. Roan goes back inside Millhouse, surrounded by Seamus's snakes, and shouts at them that he is dead. So she does not know what to do inside the dead house, and finally decides to go back home to London, where her father taught her the devil's tongue. She dresses and grabs her book of conjures, and flees Millhouse and its memories. She comes upon a tavern seeking water, but is accosted by a man who removes her bonnet, revealing her baldness. She runs and is followed by a lady working in the tavern who brings her ale and bread, but they taste of nothing but ash, and she vomits them back up. She hears the men inside who have decided to chase after her, and she steals one of their horses and gallops away. She rides the horse until it collapses and dies, blood frothing from its nostrils. The blood calls to Roan, and she drinks the horse dry, but then her skin begins to tingle as the sun rises. She drags the horse away from the road easily, with unknown strength, rips open the rib cage and removes its bowels, and climbs inside to hide from the sun. It's so very Star Wars.
Yes, but it's also Empire of the Vampire.
It is.
Climbing inside things.
Gotta keep warm and away from the sun.
Gotta keep away from the sun, friends. Roan makes it back to her father's home, hoping to find it empty. She opens the kitchen door and tries to enter, but is barred by some work of the beast. If you didn't know that she's a vampire by draining the horse dry, now you know. Now you know, because she can't go inside the house. A caretaker finds her, inviting her inside, and somehow she can go. The caretaker tells her she tried to find her and sent letters to Millhouse, but Maudley told her she'd never arrived. Lies. Well, now he's dead. The caretaker tells Roan she is the rightful owner of the house, so they might be able to do something to ensure she gets it instead of it being sold. Roan asks the caretaker for water and uses the time that she's away to sneak down to the hidden cellar and uses a conjure to conceal herself within. She looks through the forbidden books on her old bookshelf, finds a journal, and gathers them all up in a bindle made from her old bed sheets. She changes clothes and thinks of the time she used to spend in the house with Adam, or Rapley as he is now known, and suddenly his face appears to her.
Rapley is not truly gone. Yes. As Roan stares at his figure, she sees another face appear, Faustus. She also sees a building. They are in London. She leaves the cellar and runs into the caretaker, who was angry that she disappeared. Roan sinks her newly grown fangs into the woman and drinks her dry, not realising until it's too late that the front door is open and a policeman saw her murder the caretaker.
Damn it!
Oh no. Wah, wah. Ron, full of lifeblood, runs from the police, even the one on horseback, and into an alley. At first, Ron fears she is trapped, but she soon realises she's not and easily climbs the brick wall. She throws her bonnet down, confusing the policeman, who finds it.
Roan, 1852. Roan realizes after her hunger immensely grows and she eats an entire family that she is with child. Her child with Rapley, who will no doubt be like she is, marked by the beast. She wants to destroy the child, but ultimately decides against it. She buys a small place from a man that asks no questions and delivers her baby in a dingy alley off the streets of London. She's so hungry, she almost eats the baby, but she eats the placenta instead, then carries her baby to a convent and surrenders her, asking the Mother Superior to smear blood on the lintel out front if her daughter begins to display any darkness, if she is unclosed, and the nun agrees. Before leaving, Roan shares the baby's name, stitched onto the corner of her shawl. Raplin.
Len, 2019. Len, Zoe and Bolton arrive in London at Roan's tiny hovel in St Bartholomew's Alley, but Roan is not there. Zoe is still paralysed from the conjures she did to survive the end of Book 1. Please see that summary for details. So Len carries her and places her on a tiny bed in front of a wall of books. Roan told Len to come to this place if she ever needed her, so Len is sure she left some clue of how to locate her. She just needs to find it.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe feels nothing. She watches Len and Polton hate each other and Polton hate himself for what he did in Millhouse. She just wants to sulk. She imagines herself as a camera, her eyes the shutter and lens, taking pictures of what she sees around herself. Because that's all she can do.
Len, 2019. Len looks at book after book after book until she finds a tiny journal that somehow calls to her. She opens it to find her own handwriting from 1888, when she was 26 years old. She hasn't aged and can't die, but she also can't remember ever visiting this hovel. She notices conjures on the front and reads them, and all her memories come flooding back. She sealed them away and tells Zoe, but when she asks for her to explain, to tell them her life story, she runs away instead.
Damn it. Raplin, 1860. Young Len, Raplin, as she was once called, sneaks out of her bed at the nunnery one Friday. She doesn't need to sleep as much as the other girls or eat as much as them either. She makes her way to the cemetery and meets a woman there who introduces herself as Roan. The two get along very well and promise to meet again, midnight friends. Raplin goes back inside and is caught by Mother Superior, who sentences her to 3 days in solitary confinement with only water and her Bible. Raplin is worried that while she is gone, the other orphan girls will be mean to a girl called Nancy. They froze her hair the last time Raplin was in trouble, so she cut all of theirs off in retaliation. What might they do this time?
They best not do anything if
No.
they're going to get retaliated. Len, 2019. After Len unbound her memories, she ran miles and miles away and vomited. Then she returned. She refused to tell Zoe and Polton anything. Now she's giving Zoe a sponge bath, and they're joking and things are better. Until suddenly they aren't. Zoe's legs begin to hurt and she screams. Len sends Polton to steal some painkillers while she tries to soothe Zoe's aches. Zoe asks Len to tell her a story, and so she does.
I feel like this is the moment where I started to hate Zoe.
Oh, I deeply hate Zoe in this book.
Yeah, but I think this is where it started, I think, because is it real? Or is she just trying to manipulate Len?
It's a very good question.
Hate her guts out. Raplin, 1867. Several years have passed, and Raplin still visits with Roan on Fridays. They have smelling contests to see who can smell something the farthest away. Then Raplin hears a puppy, ignoring Roan, and takes it inside, convincing the sisters to let it stay. For 2 weeks they have a puppy, but one night it freezes to death. Raplin feels a tingle in her fingertips and pulls at it like a rope, bringing back the ghost of the dog. but is unable to reunite it with its body.
Ron, 1867. Ron, after draining a rapist creep, watches on as her daughter performs some sort of necromancy, drawing the ghost of the dog back to its body. Va, the worst of the conjurers, the breaker, the destroyer, comes forth from Ron without her consent and rushes to Raplin, trying to kill her. Ron tried to use Va's power nearly 16 years before on Raplin before she was born, but she was stopped by a witch named Celine, who used her conjures to heal them instead of harm. Ron locked Va away after that and hasn't pulled him forth since. She finds Celine again and tells her what she just witnessed, and they wonder if there are other conjures they haven't discovered yet. Ron decides that she can't visit her daughter again for fear that Va will destroy her.
Raplin, 1867. Raplin is found by the abbess and taken into solitary confinement. Nancy visits her and sneaks her bread, and Raplin apologizes for the loss of the dog, but then Nancy is caught visiting and punished as well. When Raplin is finally released from solitary, 9 days later, she worries about missing a visit from Roan and that she might not return. She's also worried about Nancy, who is nowhere to be found. Raplin goes to the abbess and learns Nancy is in the sick room and goes to visit her. Raplin realizes Nancy has been beaten to punish her.
Oh, that's so nice of them.
Yes.
These nuns. Zoe, 2019. Zoe listens to Len's story about Nancy and feels extremely jealous. She wants to know more of their life together and wonders if they were together until Nancy withered away and died, but she can't ask. Paulton goes out to steal some dinner, but Len gives him money from who knows where. Len decides to keep looking through all the books in the hovel, and Zoe hopes she'll find answers soon. She really wants to know more about Nancy, though, because she's a nosy bitch.
Raplin, 1867. Raplin tries to convince Nancy to run away with her, arguing that freedom is better than being beaten or thrown in the box that is solitary confinement. But Nancy does not want to leave. Mother Superior calls them to her office. Not for punishment, she says, but it is 100% punishment.
Oh, a million.
A man called Mr. Rottersham has come seeking a wife and chooses Nancy as he disgustingly twirls his mustache. Raplin yells but is dismissed, and Nancy does not follow. Look, don't twist a mustache.
If you twiddle a mustache, you're instantly a bad guy. Especially if you're British.
Yeah. Yes.
Roan, 1867. Roan writes a letter to Raplin, telling her that she hoped being raised by nuns would keep Raplin's darkness at bay. I question that logic. But that might be my bias. The darkness that Roan gave to her, but it hasn't, and the conjure inside her calls to her own, and she cannot contain it, so she must stay away from her. She signs the letter, Your Mother, but doesn't expect that her daughter will ever get to read it.
Raplin, 1867. Raplin is punished for her rudeness about Mr. Rottersham and is sad about Nancy, but Nancy comes to her one night and they decide to run away together. The abbess sees them as they steal bread and cheese, but does not stop them. Nancy struggles with their life on the streets, but Raplin promises to care for them. She watches a group of boys steal from street vendors and then break into houses, so she tries too. Unfortunately, she finds she cannot enter the houses for an unknown reason. Nancy gets upset at the thievery, so Raplin gets a job as a matchstick girl. They live in an abandoned factory, and on the night of Nancy's birthday, Raplin gives her a cake with a candle, and they kiss. Nancy is disgusted, even though she kissed Raplin back, and in the morning, she is gone.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe is still extremely jealous of Nancy and the relationship that was over 100 years ago, and questions if Len followed her back to the nunnery. Instead of answering, Len instead describes getting Fossy Jaw from being a matchstick girl and swallowing her own pus but healing while everyone else around her got horribly sick. When Zoe presses about following Nancy, Len abruptly leaves. Voices inside Zoe's head telling her that Len is flaunting her wellness and ability to move. When she's gone, Zoe yells at Polton to get Len's diary and read it to her, telling him he owes her.
Nah, dog.
Nah, dog. He basically gave up his life for her and tells her as much, almost storming out too. Instead, though, he grabs the diary and reads, because Polton is a massive pushover.
Ugh, Polton. Raplin, 1868. Raplin realizes that Nancy would only go back to the convent, so she runs all the way there, worrying about Nancy the whole time. Unfortunately, by the time she gets back, Nancy has already called for Mr. Rottersham and gotten married. One of the sisters gives Raplin the address of his home, and there she sees Nancy in an upstairs window. Raplin easily scales the wall, and she and Nancy kiss, but Nancy refuses to leave with Raplin or invite her in. Mr. Rottersham enters the room and sees them, then violently beats Nancy to death, while Raplin watches on, unable to do anything to help. He sees her and calls her a witch. Not a witch, friends. Vampire. Dumpier?
Honestly.
Dumpier.
Oh, either way, he's wrong.
He's wrong. He's wrong, and he's a son of a bitch.
Yes. Len, 2019. Len comes in to find Polton reading her diary to Zoe and nearly loses it. She's so angry. Those are her memories. That is her life. She finally cools off and tells Zoe that she is her life now, even though Nancy was before, that they're going to have to leave to find Ron. But Len will have to find somewhere safe to leave Zoe. Zoe is furious at being left behind, but Len is going to have to draw Ron out, and it might be dangerous.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe dreams of a mill house and the horrors there, but wakes suddenly when Polton comes in with a newspaper revealing that Zoe's mother is frantically searching for her. Zoe doesn't want to go back home, especially because she knows her mom will know that she's paralyzed from working her conjures. She tells Len it's time for them to go, time for her to be left somewhere safe.
Len, 2019. That somewhere safe is the convent where she grew up, St. Catherine's, but now it is a safe space for women who have been affected by conjures. After some convincing, Len and Polton leave to find Ron, while Zoe is left behind with the nuns. Len has to craft a charm for Polton to wear so she doesn't eat him when she starts on her plan to get Ron to come back. The conjure requires Len to rip out one of her own teeth, which she does, but it grows back immediately. Now they have to test it.
I love it so much. I feel like Dawn wrote this book just for us.
Here, wear this so I don't eat you.
Yeah, here, wait, hold on. Let me pull out my own tooth. Here you go. Len and Polton go out into the gritty streets of London until she finds a man about to sexually assault a young girl. The perfect mark. Len eats him and carves the Var conjure into his chest as a breadcrumb for her mother. She turns back to Polton with her vampire teeth on display, covered in blood, and realizes she can't smell him, so the charm works. The dirty tooth charm.
Nice.
Blocks the smell.
Nice.
After he vomits in shock and terror, he tells her that she's going to have to tell him the rest of her story because clearly some key things are missing.
Raplin, 1868. Raplin quietly watches Mr. Rotherham, and he does not leave the house for some time. He is afraid of her. One night he sits with his window open and he says he knows she's there, but sitting on the roof where he cannot see, so she doesn't react. She hears his heartbeat slow to a less fearful pace, but she still does not react. The next day, he finally calls his carriage to go into town, thinking the witch is gone. Raplin is there, though, and she eats his face. He gurgles, "Witch," as he dies, and Raplin says, "Yes." Afterward, she goes back to St. Catherine's and speaks to the abbess. She says she knew Raplin would be like the person who dropped her off, with blood on her mouth, and tells her to summon her with blood on the lintel. Raplin slices her skin, smears her blood, and waits.
Len, 2019. In the present, Len does the same thing. Polton wants to go inside and see Zoe, but they cannot. She slices her hand, smears her blood, and waits.
Raplin, 1868. Raplin waits, but no one comes. Feeling desperately alone, she decides she wants to take her own life, but just doesn't work. She tries again and again, and her body heals itself each time. Now she decides to go on a rampage. She attacks and kills and drinks treacherous men attacking women. Finally, her midnight friend returns. She reveals herself to be Raplin's mother and says she will teach her better ways of feeding and concealing what she is, and does. Raplin is disgusted, but agrees to be taught.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe is taken to a room by 4 sisters, Swallow, Pea, Wren, Finch, and met by Abbess Crane. She introduces who will be Zoe's companion while she's at the Abbey, Sister Robin. Zoe thinks the bird names are stupid and asks where Sister Tit is, thinking she's being funny, and learns that Sister Tit will be bringing her dinner later. Robin explains that they choose new names as a symbol of leaving hurt behind and finding a new family. Zoe thinks of telling Robin about what happened to her, but explains instead her blood price for conjuring, coming from her ancestor Hermione Smith, see Book 1, who put a price on her family's magic in hopes of getting rid of it. She then complains about being left behind by Len and Polton, even though she knows Len thinks she's doing the right thing, trying to save her. A voice in her head tells her that Len left her behind so easily. Sister Robin tells her she will never be a burden at the Abbey because they are a family where no one is left behind.
Len, 2019. Len and Polton continue to wait for Ron, Polton complaining pretty much the entire time. He convinces Len to continue his story about her time with Ron. She learned about Ron's past, that Ron made a deal in order to survive Mill House like they had to, and that deal impacted her because she was pregnant with her at the time, which is why Ron is a vampire and why Len can survive with or without drinking blood, if she chooses to. She also learned how to use a fire conjure to destroy the corpse she left behind after eating, and says that they only killed despicable people, but Raplin left her after an incident with an innocent.
Raplin, 1898. Years have passed, but Raplin barely notices, so wrapped up in her bloodlust. One night, she decides she wants to eat a chimney sweep, but she doesn't realize that he has a young girl with him. While Raplin eats, the girl falls and nearly dies. Roan tells her to snap the girl's neck and be done with it because she's dying anyway, but Raplin refuses and begs Roan, her mother, to heal her. Roan reluctantly agrees, and together they take the girl to Selene, the Soother, the Water Witch. She uses the power of the Thames, which pours from her mouth.
Ew, 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 dirty, disgusting, horrible. She'll have cholera and, other icky stuff.
That's bad.
No,
Bad.
no. Can we just get over this bit? It's horrible.
Yeah, but does it get worse that they
Yes.
also have to use Roan's body to heal the child? Cause where every broken bone mends on the girl, Roan's breaks in its place? Horrible. It's fine, though. Afterward, they take the girl to St. Catherine's, which makes Raplin angry, so she decides to leave Roan behind. This is where Roan tells Raplin to go to the small hovel in St. Bartholomew's Alley for a clue to find her again if she ever needs her. Raplin refuses.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe wakes in the middle of the night to a dark figure watching her from the corner of her room, grumbling. She tells it to go away, and it does. Or maybe it was never there at all. Oh.
Roan, 1898. Leaving Raplin behind, Roan boards a ship bound for America. She has filled her pockets with rocks from London, and, in the middle of the night when no one can see, she plummets off the side of the ship and into the icy depths below. She sinks down, down, down to the bottom of the Atlantic, but she does not drown. She does not die, for she does not need to breathe. Time passes, and she encounters a creature she comes to know as the Deep, who tells her that no life is forever. Everything dies. And then Roan finally decides she wants to return. She has this knowledge now that she can die if only she finds the way, and that's enough. She rises to the surface.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe has a dream in which a hooved creature, a mule, a horse, a ram, asks her what she would give to feel the earth beneath her feet again. Anything, of course. The next day, Sister Robin feeds her breakfast and asks her about her sleep and her dreams. Zoe thinks it's foolish to tell of dreaming to walk again, but it's impossible. Sister Robin asks if they can say a prayer together, which Zoe thinks is stupid. Sister Robin asks if Zoe thinks it helped, and she lies, saying that she thinks it does. Sister Robin shares something then. When she first arrived at the Abbey, she had horrible burn scars, but there is a hot spring beneath the church that healed her. Maybe, if it's okay with Abbess Crane, she can take Zoe there.
Roan, 1900. When Roan emerges from the sea, she has no idea where she is. She asks a startled man the way to London, and then kills him, stealing his shirt and money. Along her long journey on land instead of sea, she eats animals instead of people, and hears stories people tell of her, describing her as a witch or other evil creature of the night. They aren't wrong, of course, but she knows she has been seen and must try harder to keep herself hidden. She sees a poster advertising a doctor who knows how to find the human soul, and that doctor is Andrew Faust. Faustus, not even trying to conceal himself. She doesn't know how to kill him, or herself, yet, but she will learn, and then the world will be rid of them both.
Len, 2019. Len finally decides to give up on waiting for Rowan after smearing blood on the lintel at St. Catherine's and tells Polton it's time to try her way again, aka murdering people. Polton thinks Rowan might be dead and that's why she didn't come, but Len uses her death rope power to see if Rowan is in the world of the dead. She is not.
Zoe, 2019. Sister Robin takes Zoe to the hot springs, holding her up in the water. If she were to let go, Zoe would drown. But the sister does not let go. She should have let go. Let go.
Damn it. Damn it.
Zoe thinks about that, and she thinks about Len leaving her behind. Sister Robin massages Zoe's legs, and she can feel it.
Ooh.
The healing hot springs actually work. Well, a little. Sister Robin, or just Robin, as she allows Zoe to call her now, asks what Zoe was experiencing when she regained feeling. Rage and anger, mostly. Robin tells her to hold on to that and promises to take Zoe to the springs again the next week, even though they normally don't get to go but once a month. Maybe.
Rowan, 1900. Rowan makes her way to where Faustus will be presenting, all the while thinking of how she can kill him, or, failing that, to trap him for eternity. She decides she will watch him and then sees his poster pasted to a wall. She rips it down and is suddenly hit from behind. There is a fight, but Rowan knows she cannot die until, that is, she is stabbed with what looks like a silver blade. Rowan slinks away into the sewers, ready, joyfully, to die.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe is still seething about being paralyzed and wanting to go to the springs again. Robin says she'll have to wait a few weeks for her turn again, but she has something else planned now. They sit in anger again and say a prayer, and Zoe is able to squeeze Robin's hand. Later, Robin wheels Zoe into a dining corridor with several other nuns sitting around a table where they enjoy a secret ice cream party. Zoe gets mad again about them all flaunting the ability to move, and then Robin reveals that Sister Wren came to them blind, but now she can see. Unfortunately, Abbess Crane shows up then, and the party is over. She doesn't seem upset about it, except for the fact that she wasn't and is never invited to the ice cream parties. Zoe asks her about shame and guilt, since they're all nuns, but the abbess says they aren't nuns, and they've never said that they were. Zoe then looks around and realizes there's snakes carved into everything, and asks if the abbess is unclothed. Yes, they all are.
Ah, Zoe, you're dumb. Rowan, 1900. Rowan wakes in a bed in a room full of books, some sort of library. She has been undressed and her knife wound has been stitched closed. A man called Gable enters with a bowl and makes Rowan a drink from it. It's a mixture of a medicine and pig blood that should help her heal. Ron seems a little confused by Gable knowing about her and helping her, but accepts it, especially after he locks her in.
I mean, what choice do you have, really?
Not very many.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe is furious at Robin for lying to her about being unclosed and only saying that they were there because they had been damaged by conjures. But Robin says Zoe wouldn't have trusted them to help if she knew they were unclosed. Zoe says that's a lie. Robin then tells her that the prayers they've been saying are actually conjures, which makes Zoe mad because of the blood price she has to pay. But Robin says, you haven't paid that price, which Zoe says is because she hasn't lied, but yeah, she has. She never believed the prayers would help. Robin tells Zoe that she has been conjuring without telling the truth and without paying a blood price, and that she has the power to heal herself.
Ron, 1900. Gable reveals himself to be Nephilim, which Ron scoffs at. But if she is of the beast, why can't he be from an angel? He then shows her books of other women like her, all-powerful deities like Nyx and Hecate, the Morrigan, Medea, and many others, all unclosed, all marked by Var the Breaker. Hashtag role models. Then he reveals that she was haunted by Crucivigil, like Cage at Millhouse, she remembers, and they know how to kill creatures like her. If she wants vengeance on them, she should stay, heal, and rest, and learn about the relic that was used against her. But if she wants to die, she could stop drinking her blood soup and let the wound take her. She wants vengeance, of course, and so, Gable says, he has a lot to teach her. Teach me!
Enter the training montage.
When this book needs a montage. Vengeance is learned quicker with a montage.
Zoe, 2019. Robin has asked Zoe to join them, but Zoe isn't keen on joining a cult. Robin says they're not a cult. They're a sisterhood. But really, feels kind of cultish. Zoe asks Robin to write down the words to the prayer they shared that is actually conjures, and Robin tells her she's strong and doesn't need that, but she writes it anyway. Zoe repeats the words over and over and laughs when she can wiggle her toes.
Wiggle your big toe. Ron, 1900. Ron reads a lot of Gable's books and finds one, handwritten, unnamed one, about Faustus. And it seems like Gable has written it himself. He shares another book with her, this one written by Jenny, the young maid who escaped Millhouse while she was there. It is a highly fictionalised account in which Ron is a money grubber and Rapley is a wealthy brat, and Emma is lustful. Ron tells Gable the true story. She is angry about everything, but Gable tells her this will pass. Women in the past marked by Var were remembered as goddesses, so it's best to just be who you are, which is similar to something the Deep said to her too. You be you.
You be you while your friend writes your life story into a lusty romance novel.
Yes.
Zoe, 2019. Zoe dreams of flying/floating over the house she grew up in and turns around to see if she has wings. She doesn't, but she does have a magnificent pair of horns. She taps her fingers together, feeling a jolt of power. She wakes, floating near the ceiling of her room, and taps her fingers together again. She's still able to feel the power. She repeats the conjure, thinks of her rage, and realizes there's no effort or blood price. But there is delicious power, and she can feel it. Feel the power, Kronk! Oh, I can feel it.
Ron, 1900. A letter from Crucivigil arrives at the library requesting Gable give Ron up. He suggests she meet with them and borrow one of their relics so she can kill Faustus. He says they might even be on the same side. They've wanted to kill Faustus for a very long time too. With great care, maybe even tenderness, Gable gives Ron his cross and a pocket watch and tells her not to wait for them any longer than an hour. Ron paces and waits at their agreed-upon meeting spot near the library and then realises it was a trap, but not for her. She turns and rushes back to the library and finds it on fire. Not needing to breathe and remembering Rapley dying in a similar way, Ron runs inside the library to find Gable bleeding, dying. He gives her his Foster's book and tells her to run and hide, get a relic, control her rage, release Var, and become a goddess.
I don't know why you would do anything else at this point.
I mean, it's the only course of action.
Len, 2019. Len is tracking a tall man with a scent of child blood on him to kill him to attract Roan. But when he gets close, he attacks her. Polton is thrown back and the man comes at Len, meaning to kill. She uses her death rope as a lasso and strangles him, but he is able to break free. Roan arrives then, unleashing Var. Len and Roan work together to kill the man, who Len realizes Roan knows, and then a void opens in space above him and a ragged figure falls out. The man tells them that the Sisterhood of Sparrows will bring about the end, and then throws a knife and flees. Polton jumps in front of it before Roan or Len can stop him. He says she needs to go get Zoe because something obviously bad is happening. Roan stays with Polton while Len runs for Zoe.
Zoe, 2019. Robin asks Zoe about her dreams and she describes them and her horns and the voice of the beast. Robin is pleased and takes Zoe down into lower levels of the Abbey, into a library. She explains that Len was there a long time ago and used a conjure that corrupted the holiness of the once cathedral, and that now unclothed women come here for healing. She invites Zoe to join the Sisterhood of Sparrows, which Zoe knows means worshipping the beast, who Robin calls Lilith. Zoe agrees to join.
Len, 2019. Len rushes to the cathedral looking for Zoe, but it appears abandoned. She runs back to where she left Polton and Roan and the figure that fell from the hole in the sky, telling them that she's messed up. Zoe is gone. Polton is clearly dying, and all he wants is for Zoe to be safe. Roan says to leave Polton and tends to the girl who appeared, Emma, from book 1, but Len won't leave Polton. That is, until the police come. They leave Polton, who is probably going to die or be arrested for kidnapping Zoe, but they need to find her. Roan suggests that Faustus has found the cathedral and that they need a finder, which is what Zoe's conjure is. Well, that's not good, if Faustus has them. He can use Zoe to find Roan. Roan asks Len to use her death rope to find her own father, Rapley, and ask him for help. And Roan and Var will assist, so she tries. Apparently, though, she finds Roan's father instead. Whoopsie.
Oops. Ron, 2019. Ron, shocked that she's seeing her own father and not Rapley, asks him why he sent her to the Mill House. He tells her he did not, that Maudley forged the letter and stole her away for Faustus. But if that's true, then why did he teach her conjures, the devil's tongue? He taught her to be a weapon against Faustus. Then he tells her how to defeat him. She must destroy his bones, which she thinks surely should have disintegrated by now. No. His bones became a relic, and they can only be destroyed by a relic. Working together, she and Len destroyed the relic that they were attacked with earlier, so maybe they can destroy Faustus's bones and Faustus for good. But Len wants to find Zoe and help Polton. Roan relents to doing both. Later, Roan has a dream in which the beast tells her how she can break her own bargain with him. She has to kill a Raplin.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Zoe, 2019. The Sisterhood of Sparrows takes Zoe out into the middle of an ancient wood and inducts her into their faith. They gather naked around a body and share a goblet of wine and blood. Then ask Zoe if she wants to join in the devil's tongue. She accepts. They brand her with their symbol on the center of her chest, and she can feel it. She can feel the brand. They chant the names of the goddesses and call for Zoe to rise. She is asked what she would give, and she responds, anything. Then walks into the fire where horns erupt from her forehead, and she transforms.
Vogue.
Yep. All right. My horns are on, I believe, both backwards and upside down, but it's fine.
It's fine. You've got horns. We're all horny.
Got horns. That's all that matters. Okay. I feel like I just need to say at this point, before we, share a promo for another show, that after I finished this, and I was talking to Dawn the whole time while I was reading this book, I, again, like I did with a lot of our author friends, like I did with Lily Sparks, yelled at her in all capital letters.
Happens a lot.
It does. But I mean, that's love.
That is love.
Yelling in capital
what is
letters.
Love? Capital letters. No more. Let's just go for promos.
I think that's a good idea.
Books and Homes USA partners with schools across the country to provide their students with brand new free books to take home and enjoy. We believe in helping kids build their own home libraries to support early literacy achievement and promote a lifelong love of reading. To learn more, visit www.booksandhomesusa.org. Make a gift today and help us spread the joy that comes from receiving a new book.
Now I'm just singing that song.
What is love? It's
Capital
yelling.
letters. Capital letters.
Letters.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. What is love?
Capital letters.
Capital letters. Capital letters. What is love? Yelling in capital letters.
Yes. Can I say how much I absolutely 1000% love that they're all vampires?
Yes. Hard agree.
All vampires all the time.
All vampires all the time. Hard agree. Loved it. Keep that in.
I also really loved being underwater with the deep.
I did not like that.
Like, okay.
No.
You didn't
It was
like
too
that?
deep.
I
Too
loved it.
deep.
I loved. No, I loved it.
no,
I
I
loved
liked
it so
it.
much.
I liked it, but I was also creeped out by it. Because it's deathly uncomfortable.
No,
Because
I love
I
it.
need to breathe.
No, I love it so much. I love it so much. I loved being underwater. And I also loved... Now, I don't know what's going on with this. It might... Who knows? Who knows what's going on in the world? But, and I don't want to say anything out loud, but I did know some secrets about this book before this book came out. And one of them was that there was a sea monster. And I was like, Dawn, how in the hell did you put a sea monster in this book? And then when I got to the part where the sea monster existed, I was like, oh, I love him.
That's how you did it.
That's how you do it. I love him. I love him so much. Sea monster in a book full of vampires.
Well, of course there's going to be a sea monster.
Well, of
perfect
course.
sense.
Yes. It does make perfect sense. So good. But I was angry that it didn't end.
Yeah. I mean, we knew, really, because of the whole third book being teased.
Right, but
actually,
still.
that wasn't until after Blood came out.
Yeah, this book, when did it come out? Like in March or something. It came out a while ago.
Yeah, but I didn't read it straight away, because I knew we were covering it, so I thought it's easier to read it close to when we're covering it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But still. I'm going to say my top three things.
Okay.
The homage to Sister Act. The ice cream party.
I couldn't even say that part in the summary without laughing and thinking about it. Like, I was like, when is Dame Maggie Smith going to come in and be upset with them? Oh, wait, there exactly. She is. She came in. She was not invited. Wah, wah.
Love it. The vampire trope being used predominantly was not being able to enter a dwelling without permission.
Yes.
Nice. Feels like it's been a while since we've had that one.
Yes.
And the thing that I love and also hate is Zoe.
Zoe. Like,
1000% all the way through, she was an annoying little twerp. I wanted to slap her, and she couldn't slap me back because she can't move.
She can't fight back.
She literally... most interesting thing that happened was when she, went to the fire with her. I couldn't deal with her.
No.
I know she was in crappy circumstances, but she also knew from book one her actions are going to have consequences. Her conjures are going to have consequences.
Yeah.
And it was less about her being paralysed. That was and like how much she was going on to Sister Robin and the other sisters, and being the victim with them. It was less that, and more her absolute jealousy over Nancy.
It was
and
painful.
The fact that Len is this nearly 200-year-old vampire. Yeah, love, you're not the first person she's fucked, okay? Get over it. She's just so selfish. Have self-pity over the fact that you've lost your independence. I get that.
Yes.
I can empathise that.
Yes.
Really, really hard.
Yes.
But I also think you need to stop and assess the life choices that you've made and accept a lot of the life choices that you've made. But when it comes to your current relationships history, you just need to
let it go.
Yeah,
just let it go.
It's got nothing. Your grandparents weren't even around when Len was with Nancy.
Right,
and nothing freaking happened apart
nothing
from kisses.
happened with them because Nancy didn't understand what was going on with her life.
No.
She really clearly they loved each other, 100% loved each other. But Nancy, they're friggin' in a convent, so of course being punished by sitting in a quiet room with only your Bible to read, you're gonna think, oh, yep, what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling is wrong and bad, which it's not. Just clear that up for everyone. But of course she's gonna think that she's doing wrong, and
exactly, she's a product of her time.
Yes. And then she has to go and immediately marry Mr. Rottersham, and then he beats her to death.
He is
whilst
an asshole.
Twirling his mustache. Hated it.
I hope Len ripped the moustache off Mr. Rotherman's face.
I mean, she ate his face off, so she ate that mustache.
Do you think she had moustache hair in her teeth?
Yeah, she probably did. She had mustache in her teeth for sure.
Ew.
I do not want mustache in my teeth.
No.
Gross.
Ew.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so Roan, vampire.
Yes.
Len, Dampier.
Yes.
Is Faustus also considered a vampire? Because if so, that makes Roan a vampire hunter, which again just elevates her in our mind even more than she already is.
Because we love a vampire hunter so much. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
For purely self-serving reasons.
Yes.
And it's something good. We can ask. We can ask. We may not get an answer, but we can ask.
Right. We can. ask, because we will be chatting with Dawn about this book. It just didn't line up. The stars did not align for us to talk to her whilst recording this episode, because it's holiday time, folks. We're getting near the end of the year, and so schedules are all over the place. It's also birthday times for both Dawn and myself. Like, schedules are all over the place. So we are going to be talking to her, but that one's just going to be a random bonus episode in the middle of nowhere. But look for it. It'll be coming. It'll be coming in a few weeks, probably. Can I also say, after, yelling in all capital letters, which is the language of love, I really hope that when book 3 comes out, that Zoe becomes some sort of horrible murdering monster that they have to kill because, like you were saying, she got on my nerves so bad the entire time.
Yeah.
And I just want to murder her.
Yeah.
Also, hope that Polton doesn't make it.
Oh, God, Polton was another annoying one. It was very whingy.
Yes.
Like, Ron didn't win. She kind of got on with it.
Yeah.
Glenn, in the most part, just got on with it. She kind of had her moments of going, oh, gosh. And then got over it.
Yeah, they both went through phases of, well, shit, can I just kill myself? No. Fuck. Okay, well, let's move on.
Exactly. Deal with that. But Polton, whinge, whinge, whinge. Zoe, whinge, whinge, whinge.
I think it's because they're modern characters.
Modern and young.
Yes. Yes. It's a note on society here. These old broads from the 1800s are like, just deal with it.
In my
day, I scaled walls and talked to sea monsters.
In my day, we could put my fair friends with actual nuns and make sure that the convent was actually a convent and not a cult.
Good stuff. It's good stuff.
In my day, nuns didn't have Ben and Jerry's.
In my day, nuns didn't have horns. That's a good change, I think.
In my day, nuns didn't decorate with snakes. In my day, nuns weren't called tit. That was such low-hanging fruit of a joke.
It really was. It really was. And they're like, oh yeah, she's actually going to be bringing you your dinner later. Stop being a cunt.
Oh, God. I actually really liked Robin and the other not nuns.
Yes. I liked all of the sisters as well.
Yeah, the sisters were really good. If putting Ron to one side, because I can safely assume Ron is continually our favourite character here.
Yes, of course.
I've really enjoyed Robin and the sisters. Level-headed. My favourite scenes were with them. I love the Sister Act's ice cream party.
Yes, of course.
But I also just liked it when Robin and Zoe were together and Robin was talking sense into Zoe.
Yeah.
And trying to get her to realise and sympathise and empathise that she's not the only person who goes through a lot of physical and mental shit.
Yeah.
And that she needs to, take stock and kind of realise her own power and her own worth. And she seemed like a genuinely nice person,
Yeah. She's only probably brainwashed a little bit.
Is she brainwashed? Or does she actually realise, no, this is a pretty good thing. Horns in my head, that's fine. It's a fashion statement.
They are in a cult. So there has to be some brainwashing involved.
Does it? Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
You know what? They used the waters in the fountain for the brainwashing. So it just healed their brains. So their brains are not damaged, and they are not... Just forget it.
I would say
Just move on.
they're thinking clearly, but they understand the benefits of being in this not convent.
Yes.
I think they understand the benefits to that, and I think they've made clear decisions.
Yes.
And accepted their life choices, and their life choices comes with, you know, fire and horns.
That's a perfectly reasonable outcome for life choices.
I don't see a problem with that.
Me neither.
It's
I like it.
warm and cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not like the Thames water bit. I will point out though.
Oh.
That was gross and disgusting. Just knowing the amount of filth and dead bodies and cholera and all the other waterborne disgustingness and the literal shit in the Thames.
Yeah, especially back then.
Oh.
Yeah, that's horrible. You gotta vomit that shit up. And it was healing.
No, it's not healing me. Oh.
It's bad. It was gross.
It was absolutely vile, but it was cool the way that Ron had to take on the breakages and stuff. That was an interesting bit of magic.
Yes. And she was fine, because she's a vampire and she can't die. And she's just going to heal.
Sucked, but yeah.
Yeah, but only for a little while.
do you know what I found that amused me?
What?
Like, Len doesn't know that her dad is her uncle. The incestuous relationship just kind of was never said.
Yeah.
Like, that was... I mean, it was kind of glossed over in Teeth in the Mist.
Yeah.
But it was never mentioned once in this one. And I was like, oh, you're a product of incest.
Yeah. Do you think if they had been able to capture him with death rope instead of Roan's father, he would have been like, hey, daughter niece?
I don't know. I think he'd probably be like, oh, so you need me to pay backdated monies for 150 years. Ooh.
Like, how...
Do you want to go play catch?
Yeah, how is he still alive?
Is he still alive? Really?
Is he still alive?
Really, is he still alive? Because, I mean, you could argue that because Raplin's there, a part of Rapley is still alive. And then Genetic Coot.
And there was that whole thing of, trying to summon him with the death rope, and someone else showed up instead. So there is that thought that, he's not dead.
Or you could just be in a place where you can't get to him.
Yeah, and then, what was with Emma falling from the portal in the sky?
That was weird.
That was weird.
It's too many questions.
I
do not approve.
I need more. I need book 3. I need to know about the portal. And, why did she come back? Is anybody else going to come back?
Well, that could be where Rapley is, that weird...
Yes, in the other... Yes, and I mean, is Seamus going to be there as well? Is he going to fall out in a pile of snakes and body parts?
I'm kind of curious as well what's going to happen to Polton, because,
He's going to die.
I am hoping not to survive, because Polton got on my nerves. But yeah, there's a lot of questions. We need book 3.
We need book 3.
If book 3 happens, because Dawn had to do the entire thing front to cover by herself, and she's done a fantastic job.
Yeah. I need book 3. I need book 3 to happen. I just need her to tell me what is going to happen.
Yes, we need all the secrets.
Yeah, that's a good thing about being friends with authors, is that you know,
But you can
sometimes...
say it in all caps.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll tell you things.
As long as we haven't got the record button pressed.
Right? Were you surprised by anything? I was surprised that they were all vampires.
No, that didn't.
Because they could have been anything. I mean, I'm not surprised that they're vampires, but they could have been anything. Like, they're possessed by, you know, demons. They could have been anything. I appreciate that they were vampires.
Yeah, I think mine's similar vein of it's not surprise. Like, I'm not surprised by this. More of a kind of situation. Mm-hmm. So it's not a surprise, it's a which I think is the same as you saying that everybody was vampires. You went not ooh.
Yeah.
And that was when Sister Robin tells Zoe that, you know, she made assumptions that there were nuns. And I was like, yeah. So did I. Oops.
Yeah. Oopsies. Not nuns.
I thought they were nuns because everybody else said they were nuns.
Yep.
And I, you know, didn't form my own. But then I am also not seeing the sculptures of the snakes. And, you know, I can't see, could there be horns underneath their habits and that kind of stuff. So I'm not really
that would
seeing
be amazing.
what Zoe is seeing to be able to make that clearly informed decision. Which just tells you how much Zoe didn't look beyond her own freaking nose.
Yes. Well, she's so obsessed with herself, she's not, gonna pay attention to anything else.
I genuinely think Zoe has narcissistic, like, tendencies.
Yes. Me too. Ugh. Something fantastic better happen with her and her new horns. I don't know what it's gonna be, but something fantastic better happen because...
Bloody rampage,
otherwise,
bloody rampage.
Right? That's all it can be. Because otherwise I just want her to be dead.
Do you think her bones will then be she can use her bones as a relic to kill Foster's?
Maybe.
Or cut off her head and use her horns.
Yes.
Right through his hole.
Use her head as a bowling ball is where my brain went when you said that.
That would be amazing. That would be hilarious.
Yeah. I would like that. It's a perfect outcome. That's the ending of book 3.
Yeah,
just
done.
so everyone knows. We've already written it.
Sorted.
Yeah.
New high score.
Yeah.
You get a free ball next time you play.
You do.
And some free nachos and a slushie.
Yes. Perfect.
Ball outcome. Oh.
I think we should move on. I
really do as well, because it's all got a bit Big Lebowski.
Thought quote, yes. Or Mystery Men?
Yeah.
Favorite final thought quote. That's where we are now, everyone. Don't forget that we stuck this in a different spot now. Still taking me a little bit to get used to it.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for you.
Oh, I only have 5.
Okay. But the dead make good company, Rapley laughs. That's because he can't see anything back. Their best quality.
Indeed.
Len has a plan, I assure him. She knows what she's doing. Yeah, he mutters. Like a monkey on crack, she does. Which is like the only time Polton is in any way, shape or form hilarious.
Yes.
Oh, this is another Polton, actually. Oh, can't be arsed. Chippy? Chippy it is. That's so excessively British. Go with the Chippy. Why is it always blood? Polton mutters, his lips curling. Because blood is life. Okay, Dracula, shut it.
You have an awful lot of Polton quotes for someone who does not like Polton at all.
I think it's just because they're quite excessively British, and I thought, yeah, that speaks to me, obviously. I'm not seething. I'm stewing in your own amazingness, in my own rot. And lastly, you know, some might tell you that we're human beings, not human doings. Your worth isn't about how much you do.
Oh, that one's nice.
Thanks, Robin.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn.
You had a lot of fun things. Mine
I
are
made sure
not.
to take me. I thought yours were going to be all like murder, death, kill.
Yep.
So I wanted to counteract
Smart.
that
You're
with some
smart.
fun.
You're smart. The craving is just a manifestation of her rage. There's no real black and white, this or that to the world. There are shades of gray. That one, not so menacing. She had seen shadow upon shadow upon shadow, and had long since stopped looking for rainbows. It's me in darkness, all the time. If I cannot unshackle myself from the world, then I will wreak my vengeance upon it. And finally, you are a black pit, a void, a chasm, an abyss. It is in your nature to see only darkness. Again, yes. It's me.
She says, grappling for the horns are about to fall off.
No, actually, they're staying on pretty well. I'm surprised, since this
These
is
ones
just...
are really silly.
Well, you've got a headband. I just have an elastic. So they're wobbly.
Don't go button heads with anybody then.
I can't. They'll just bounce off. Like a bowling ball.
We're back to the ending of book 3.
Okay. Moving on. Pew, 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 pew. Pew, 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 pew. Time for Would You Rather.
We asked on social media, would you rather have an extremely powerful sense of smell or sense of hearing? Surprisingly, because TikTok. Facebook said 77% hearing, Instagram was 90% hearing, TikTok 71% smell, which tells you a lot about TikTok, and Threads was 100% hearing. And we have some comments. Colin on Facebook said, it's got a big hearing, hasn't it? There's too many yucky smells out there to make super smelling a good idea. Everyone's farts would be an absolute killer, apart from mine, because mine don't smell. True story, ask my wife. Imagine waking up and the first thing you smell is the garbage truck coming along the street. Blech. Hearing, though, is very superhero coded. Superman has super hearing and it's pretty cool. You can hear the garbage truck from 3 streets away, giving you time to run downstairs in your PJs to put the bin out because you forgot to do it the night before. Your memory's not what it was. Maybe you're feeling a bit stressed. That big presentation's coming up at work soon. Yes, that must be it. Once that's done, you'll be feeling much better. Hearing, please.
Emily on Facebook says, I have to go with hearing. Even though I can hear really well, I wouldn't want to smell things like farts. I deal with my husband's and mom's farts already. Why is everybody farts all the time?
Vincent on Facebook, easiest one to answer by far. I mean, being able to smell sexy men's smells with great intensity would be amazingly hot. Being able to smell a cat's poop is already bad enough without it being super heightened.
Candace on Facebook. Oh, Candace. We're the same, you and I. This was a hard one. I have sensitive hearing as it is, and I don't like repetitive or loud noises. If there's a dripping faucet, I can't sleep. That's why I'd have to go with smell.
And Real Jackson 4 on Instagram said, hearing, and it's not even close. Which, checked, it is dog fart related.
Of course it is. At Brie Tart on Instagram says hearing because it's a lot easier to plug ears than nostrils. There was an episode of Castle that had a consultant with heightened smell, and her life seemed unpleasant.
And Coral Reef Books on Instagram said, have to go with hearing. Could help with my selective, and smells good or bad. Nope, can't.
Crinoline the Frog on Threads said, imagine all the tea I could find out.
True.
Using her hearing abilities, because she's not talking about actual tea, friends. She's talking about the goss.
She would spill the tea while having tea.
She would. Look, I pick smelling, although I hate both of these. I hate both of them. But I pick smells because everyone knows about my tinkly fear of wind chimes disorder. I can't handle it. I'd be able to hear it all the time. And smelling, like, it's so funny. That's how I know that I have a migraine coming, is smells, because all of my smells are seriously, like, I can smell anything when I have a migraine coming. So, I mean, I'm already used to, like, super smelling things. So, I mean, I guess that's what I'm going to pick. Because I can't handle the tinklings. And then I know that that's all I could hear. Like, I can hear everything anyway. If our power goes out at our house, our refrigerator likes to let us know. Like, hey, it's great. It's a great plan to let us know that the power has gone off and come back on. Because, you know, if it's been out for a long time, you don't want to eat spoiled food. But it beeps like every 10 minutes until you go and press the button to turn it off. And it always happens in the middle of the night. And I wake up and then I can't go back to sleep because I have to go and shut off the refrigerator. And it's horrible. It's horrible. So I'd rather smell. Sorry.
I feel like you could sort a lot of your problems by getting a different refrigerator.
No, the refrigerator's really nice. It's a good refrigerator.
Okay. It's loud. How often does your power go off? This isn't the 70s. All
the time. It happens all the time.
Weird.
I live in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, it's 2024.
Yeah, but I live in the middle of nowhere.
I have a terrible sense of smell. Absolutely terrible. The only time I've ever had a decent sense of smell was when I was pregnant, and I could smell an orange 100 yards away. It's weird. I'm not bothered for my sense of smell. Whatever. I'm going to go hearing, because I feel like I could block it out easier.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could put headphones on.
Yeah, put headphones on. You don't have to turn up the volume quite so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or put earplugs in to help muffle the sounds a bit.
Yeah.
And then I could become a recluse. Like, oh no, I can't come out hearing.
I mean, you could do that anyway, for any reason.
Avoid people.
Yeah. But you could really do that for any reason whatsoever.
Well, I mean, true. It's true.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Would you rather constantly swallow your own pus and heal, or lose your jaw to phosphorus poisoning?
Well, I've seen the pictures of the phosphorus poisoning, and I do not suggest you Google it. Mm-mm. It is not pleasant at all.
No.
At least if I'm having to swallow my own pus and heal, I'm healing, and it's going to eventually taper off.
Yeah.
But lose your jaw to phosphorus poisoning, I'm not healing from that.
No.
So, yeah, I'm going to go for the first option, as much as I really want to vomit at the idea of it right now.
It's really what I was hoping for. For you to vomit.
It's your one dream in life is to make
on
me vomit
screen.
during one of these episodes.
Yes, it is. It'll happen one day.
2025 book themes. It's going to be Make Claire Vomit.
Make Claire vomit. Yep. It's a goal. Yeah, I don't want to lose my jaw. Unless I could, like, lose it and then pick it up and put it back on.
No, it's gone.
It's gone forever.
Melting away. I mean, to be fair, though, also, phosphorus poisoning doesn't just make you lose your jaw.
Yeah. It was not a good time to be a matchstick girl.
No.
Yeah, I'm gonna heal, obviously. Yeah, since I shook my head all those times ago, now my horns are getting saggy.
Ew. Would you rather be raised by nuns or raised by a monster?
Monster.
Yes, 100%.
No question. Avoid organized religion. Avoid
yes.
Organized religion.
1000%, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I want to combine two questions here.
Okay.
Because one, obviously, we know what we're going to choose with this first part. Would you rather just give up on the world and live at the bottom of the ocean, or
gesturing around everybody?
Gesturing around at the horrible things that are happening around
in her
us.
eyes. Hopelessness. Sense of loss. Pity. Shame.
All of it. All of it. So obviously we know, yes, we're going to choose to live at the bottom of the ocean. So then that brings us to the second half of the question that I want to ask. Would you rather eat a shark or a horse?
Sorry, how's this
Because we're living at the bottom of the ocean. And we already ate a horse. Because clearly we are Roan. We've already eaten a horse once. And gotten inside it like a tauntaun. Would you rather eat a shark or a horse?
Horse. Because shark's tough. And horses are genuine meat that's eaten in certain countries, so it's fine.
So is shark.
Yeah, but I think sharks are tougher meat. And it depends on which shark that is consumed. Different sharks will have a different toughness, I imagine. So I'm going to go with horse, because you can have a horse burger. There was a whole scandal in the UK years and years ago. At Tesco's, the supermarket, was selling burgers that were made with horse meat. And nobody told them that was horse meat, and they didn't advertise as being horse meat. And loads of people were like, oh, I've eaten horse meat! Oh! And I'm like, I don't get my burgers from Tesco's, so I'm not particularly worried, but it's just horse. Whatevs.
Just a horse. Whatevs.
I've had kangaroo before, that was interesting. I mean, you know, you get these Christmas markets that like to be in sheds. They sell everything from sheds, and they do like lots of different world foods. Mm-hmm. There's always German sausages, always. And there was one of them that was selling kangaroo and veal and other assorted ostrich. I've had ostrich before. Took great joy in eating that one. I hate fucking ostriches.
Good, you hate them.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna eat a shark. I feel like the shark maybe deserves it more than the horse does. The horse was just like trying to help you get from point A to point B. But the shark probably is gonna try to eat you.
Sharks don't eat humans though. If you think about a shark attack, sharks do not want to eat people. People taste disgusting. We're not in their food chain. We're not in anybody's natural food chain. So if a shark attacks, it takes a bite, it never actually consumes. It kind of takes a bite and goes, ugh, gross, and spits it back out. Humans taste rotten.
Well, yeah.
Humans don't get fully consumed, unless it's by another human.
Yeah, but still, the shark tried to hurt me. The horse did not.
You provoked it. What did you do in provoking it? Why are you pissing off a shark, Amanda?
Because it's in my new domain. My domain of... I don't care.
Then you get to pay a tithe, not eat it.
No, I'm gonna eat it. Stop trying to talk me out of eating a shark.
No, I just think you're going into its territory.
I just want to know why you're eating a gentle creature such as a horse.
Horses are jerks. Or they can be jerks. I've still got that backdated trauma from a child when that pony tried to eat me.
That's why you're eating the horse.
Yeah, revenge. That's why I ate that ostrich burger. Revenge.
It's the only reason why anyone should eat anything. Revenge.
Exactly, vengeance.
It's the only reason why anyone should do anything at all.
Well, I think, I've learned, as we talked about earlier, through the power of montage, vengeance.
Yeah.
And that vengeance is me eating a horse.
Sure. It's perfect. It makes perfect sense. What's our last question?
Would you rather be healed by Sister Robin or the Water Witch Celine?
I do not want to be vomited on by dirty ass water. So I'm going to go Sister Robin. Also, she seemed like a nicer person.
She's likely going to indoctrinate you into the cult, though.
Well, I mean, I'll get horns out of the deal, so.
See, that's what I was thinking. I like the statement piece.
Yeah.
I can't do the Thames water. It's just
No.
It's just bad times now, dog.
No, I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that.
No.
Plus, it's vomit. She vomits it out of her mouth. So not only is it dirty ass Thames water, it's vomit water as well.
Make it stop. It needs to go. I don't like it.
Okay. If you liked this, try this. Move on so Claire doesn't vomit, even though that is my life goal.
I am going to recommend Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. It is appropriate. Hashtag tenuous links. But also, I just want to read more T. Kingfisher, if I'm perfectly honest. I'm quite biased. Going back to when we were talking about conflict of interest, I have a conflict. I am interested.
Yes. Yes.
So, I will read... I'm just going to read the blurb from the book. How pretty is that cover, though?
It's very pretty.
My enabler husband said, "Oh, why don't you get this? You're interested in reading some more T. Kingfisher." So I got 2 books. So the blurb from the book. Cordelia knows her mother is unusual. Their house doesn't have any doors between rooms. There are no secrets in this house. Cordelia isn't allowed to have a single friend. The only time she feels truly free is on her daily rides with her mother's beautiful white horse, Valada, which sounds delicious. But more than a few quirks set her mother apart. Other parents can't force their daughters to be silent and motionless, obedient, for hours or days on end. Other mothers aren't sorceresses. After a suspicious death in their small town, Cordelia's mother insists they leave the middle of the night, leaving all Cordelia has ever known. They arrive at the remote country manor of a wealthy older man, the squire, and his unwed sister, Hester. Cordelia's mother intends to lure the squire into marriage. Cordelia knows this can only be bad news for the bumbling gentleman and his kind, intelligent sister. Hester sees the way Cordelia shrinks away from her mother, how the young girl sits eerily still at her dinner every night. She knows that to save her brother from bewitchment and to rescue the terrified Cordelia, she'll have to face down a wicked witch of the worst kind. And it's penned on Goodreads, I was looking at, as a dark retelling of the Brothers Grimm's Goose Girls, with secrets, murder, forbidden magic, and the unusual mother. So I thought it's quite interesting, it has some links.
Yes.
So yeah, there you go.
It's excellent.
What have you got?
I'm going to suggest one that was sent to me in the mail, and I don't know where I put it. Oh, no, I know exactly where it is. It's in the box coming to you for Christmas. Not on its way yet, but it is in this box. So this one is called In Want of a Suspect by Tirza Price, and this one just came out on November 12th, so it was going to be set up to be a new and indie spotlight, but things and time, so I'm sharing it now. It was sent to us by HarperCollins, and I'm sharing it now, even though it just came out, so everyone go grab it up. Guys, I don't even know why I'm doing this, except for the fact that I love Claire more than anything. This is a Jane Austen book.
Yes! Yes!
It is a truth universally acknowledged that London's first female solicitor in possession of the details of a deadly crime must be in want of a suspect. The tenacious Lizzie Bennet has earned her place at Longbourn, her father's law firm. Her work keeps her busy, but luckily it gives her plenty of reasons to consult and steal occasional kisses with Mr. Fitzwilliam Darcy, a stern but secretly soft-hearted solicitor at Pemberley. Lizzie is hired to investigate a deadly warehouse fire and to find the mysterious woman who was spotted at the scene moments before the flames took hold. But when the case leads to the sitting room of a woman Darcy once proposed marriage to, the delicate balance between personal and professional in their relationship is threatened. Questions of the future are cast aside when the prime suspect is murdered and Lizzie's own life is threatened. As the body count rises and their suspicions about what was really going on in the warehouse grow, the pressure is on for Lizzie and Darcy to uncover the truth. This might be the only one that I can get on board with on account of all the murder.
I have read the pride and premeditation and the sense and second degree murder, I think it is. With
yes.
This is like a spin-off series from it. Yeah.
Yes.
They're not written like Jane Austen. It's very modern writing.
That's the only way I could get on board with it. In, the murder.
There you go. We love some murder. Do we have any murder in the New in the Spotlight?
Well, yeah. This one comes out in March of next year. It's called I Am Made of Death.
Oh, I hope so then.
By Kelly Andrew. Following the death of his father, Thomas Walsh had to grow up quickly, taking on odd jobs to keep food on the table and help pay his gravely ill mother's medical bills. When he's offered a highly paid position as an interpreter for an heiress who exclusively signs, Thomas, the hearing child of a deaf adult, jumps at the opportunity. But the job is not without its challenges. Thomas is expected to accompany Vivienne wherever she goes, but from the start, she seems determined to shake him. To make matters worse, her parents keep her on an extremely short leash. She is not to go anywhere without express permission. She is not to deviate from her routine. She is, most importantly, not to be out after dark. A selective mute, Vivienne Farrow hasn't said a word in years, not since going missing in Red Rock Canyon when she was 4 years old. No one knows quite what happened to her out in the dark. They only know that the sound of her voice is now as deadly as a poison. Anyone who hears her speak suffers a horrible death. Ever since that fatal family vacation, Vivienne has been desperately searching for a way to regain control of both her voice and her body, because the face staring out of the mirror isn't hers. It's something with teeth. Thankfully, Vivienne has a plan. She's finally found someone who claims to be able to perform a surgical exorcism. She just needs to find a way to get rid of Thomas first. But Thomas can't afford to walk away, nor is he willing to abandon the mysterious girl he's quickly falling for, no matter what dark powers threaten to swallow them both whole. So many good-sounding things in that book.
Teeth.
There's teeth.
Yes.
There's teeth.
I'm going to have to do a theme for next year that is literally just, there's teeth.
There's teeth. Yeah, of course.
That I'm going to just you
go
do the
ahead and put it in
outro
there right
and I'm
now.
going to put that in the 2035.
All right, thank you. So that's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss Teen Killers at Large by and with Lily Sparks. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
Yay! You can find us at fictionalhangover.com and follow us on all social media at Fictional Hangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for listening.